Howdy, y'all. You got the Bulldog on the channel. Right now, I mean, it was as warm as it was going to get today at like 6, 7 o'clock this morning, which was 20 degrees. Just afternoon right now, and it is 14, 15 degrees outside, which for anybody everywhere else around the world, that's 8, 9 degrees below 0 Celsius. Which for my area, that's cold. I know you get up north, and that's uh, bring a jacket weather. But I just figured I had some trouble with this yesterday, and I should have done a video, but I didn't. But I was going to show you, this is how we stay warm in here. Now, natural gas was the primary heating source before we came here, and it could barely keep up. We've got these roll-up doors. They point to the north, so it's not very good. If you get a north wind, it blows right through the doors, and it's terrible. So there's two 100,000 BTU furnaces, and you got to run them all night long at full heat, or it will lose to the point you can't warm it up during the day. I mean, it just can't do it. So what we did pretty quick, not only was it inefficient, but it was incredibly expensive. Now, when we change oil and we have all this extra stuff, the disposal places, they charge you for taking that old oil, or they did at the time. Now there's a lot of places that'll take it for free. Some places actually pay for it. Not anymore, but here's what we do. What we've got is an Omni waste oil furnace, 150,000 BTU, and we make enough oil for about half of our heating needs throughout the year. And for the rest of it, we got farmers everywhere that do their own services. We've got a couple, 3 construction places, rock quarries. We live in a floodplain, and they have to have pumps to pump the water out of the floodplain in order to maintain the integrity of the levee. And they will change the oil in their pumps, gigantic pumps that you can stand in the cylinder, of the diesel engine. And that generates a lot of oil. We get the oil from there. Customers bring their oil in, and that's the other half of what we burn during the year. I just got through unloading a truck that brought down 4 barrels. This is how we store our oil. Just in 55-gallon barrels. And the reason for that is if one of them's rusted out, if one of them develops a leak, you don't have a gigantic tank leaking all over the place. It's very containable, and you can handle it. If you have a little bit of a leak on one, well, you can grab it by hand and tip it over on its side to stop the leak. Get wherever it's leaking, get it up in the air to where it doesn't leak anymore. You have very little loss that way. We thought about getting a big holding tank, and then we had somebody bring one up. Well, they brought it up because it was rusted and leaking. So it started making a mess. We got some barrels and pumped and this, that, and the other to contain that, but that would have been a 300-gallon deal. We don't want that. We want everything contained. And we have an area where things are contained. They can't get away, and you can't lose more than 1 barrel unless you crash into it or something stupid like that. We have had, I think, 2 leaks, and both of them, occurred during handling. They didn't get damaged. They were rusted out, and we were moving them around, and that rust broke and saw the leak, tipped it over right away. One of them, we tipped it over upside down and just found the rust hole and opened it on up, stuck the pump down in it, pumped it out. Those are the things that you do. You don't want a big mess on top of you don't want the environment hurt. So this is what we do. Like I say, we got the oil furnace up here. Some of it's custom because it used to have air compressor right there to blow air in there, and it has an oil injector, and it injects the oil in a fine mist so that it gets a nice complete burn. Clean it out once a year. Got the other end, you can take it off of there and you can clean all the waste product out of it. It's really efficient, and like I said, we not only don't have to pay for getting rid of used oil, but we get heat out of it because, you know, natural gas ain't free. And instead of getting the tank that comes with this, I mean, we just hung it from the rafters up there. Instead of getting the tank, he went over to farm store and just bought a big pickup tank. It's got 2 bungs in it, and he made a little filtration system. You got it set up for shop air right now. We've got a regulator on it and a little switching valve that quit working. So we're going to have to replace that. But it also solves some issues. Whenever you have one of these oil furnaces, they are constantly giving problems because of contaminated oil. Well, this time of year is when we're usually solving our problems with, you know, oil that has water in it. This burns almost anything. And since we handle it a couple of times, it mixes up real good. When it's mixed up with almost anything, it'll burn. But you have to adjust it a little bit. We have adjustments. We can adjust the air up here. We can adjust the air pressure going in. We can adjust the pump volume going in. So usually that takes care of a lot of it. But we have our barrel here. It's not steel, so that we can shine a light in there and see where the oil is. We don't run it over. What we call that our catch can. We pour stuff in it, and then if it gets full during the summer, we pump it into a barrel, which usually 2 or 3 barrels a year. And basically we have a holding area for it. The rest of it is just all stored in individual barrels. But what we do, we just got a regular tank or pump and drop it into the barrel and pump it out. Well, when you do that, you got about that much left in the barrel. So we pump it into the tank for the heater, and then I tip it up on its corner and pump the rest of it into this holding tank, or this barrel here, and it has a chance to settle out. Any contaminants are usually heavier than oil, including water. They'll just settle to the bottom. So we'll pump it out all we can, then we pick up the barrel and just pour it into this other one. So anything that's in there that's not going to burn is usually heavier, and it just settles to the bottom. You do that enough times, and no significant contaminants make it to your tank that you burn the oil burner out of. Keep your oil clean and it'll work a lot better. Now, other things we've done to kind of help it out, but you know, if you decide to go with a system like this, you know, most of the places aren't going to be very big, but still, preparation makes your job a whole lot easier later on. I just got through today moving all these barrels. We just got a barrel handler. We use a loader when there's 2 people, or just cherry pickers, what I use today. Pick it up out of the truck and move it over here, get it ready. I got it shut off right now just because you can't hear yourself think whenever it's running. It used to be a lot worse. Whenever it had a little compressor on there, it would buzz. You couldn't hear nothing. But we hooked up shop air, that quieted it down quite a bit, but it's still pretty loud. That's why I shut it off, just to make this video. But yeah, that's what we do. Not only does it dispose of all of our used oil and some of our neighbors' used oil, it also saves a whole lot of money, because when we did this, Safety Clean, I think, was charging $1 a gallon to dispose of used oil. Now I think it's $2 or $3 a gallon. It's not good. So we don't have to deal with that. We get rid of it. Like, comment, subscribe, hit your little bell notification, share it all around. Talk to you later.